Hey, everybody. Good to be with you this gorgeous day here in Atlanta. We're going to be talking today about at least 4 or 5 different things, but something that wasn't even on my agenda. And honestly, I can't believe I forgot to put this on the list, but we've got to talk about the big case that was argued tomorrow. This is going to be Trump and birthright citizenship. Yes, it is back. Stopped by a judge 3 months ago. It has quickly made its way to the Supreme Court, where the Trump administration is arguing that 130 years of Supreme Court precedent is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. How we look at it is what's important. Now, I will tell you this. They're going to lose this appeal on the issue of birthright citizenship. They are 100% going to lose this. Their argument is that the 14th Amendment, when it says that any person born in the United States, and parenthetical, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, close parenthetical, does not apply to children of undocumented immigrants. Yeah, that's what they're saying. The thing is, that phrase was well developed, and it's crystal clear in 1868 what that meant, and it meant children of diplomats. That's what it meant. This is quite clear what that meant. Diplomats, they're not subject to the jurisdiction. And American Indians, they were not subject. Everybody else is subject. And now, well, they didn't have undocumented immigrants. Well, it's true. We really didn't have an immigration law back then, but so what? Are you really arguing that undocumented immigrants are not subject to U.S. law? Well, that's weird because you're deporting a lot of them under U.S. law. Is that what you're thinking? This is why the argument is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous argument. Now, that said, they're also arguing with something that's not ridiculous, in that the Supreme Court needs to limit the ability of federal district court judges to issue nationwide injunctions. Now, this is an attack on federalism, just so that you know. It's an attack on federalism, that the federal government reigns over the states. It's extra-constitutional, in my opinion, the argument. And it's quite clear a federal judge in California or New Jersey or Texas can order a national injunction if the law is unconstitutional. Why would it be unconstitutional in less than one state? I don't understand. It can be unconstitutional everywhere if it's unconstitutional. Now, the odd thing is the Trump administration and the Trump minions, the maggots, they use this argument to stop DACA and many other Biden administration efforts. So what's going to happen? Right. The Supreme Court says, yeah, let's say they say we're not going to allow federally, you can't enjoin anything beyond your district. Okay, well, we'll just file it 50 times. You think there's a shortage of people willing to file 50 times? We'll file 50 times. Yeah. Ask the people to sue in the students. We've filed 200 times. We're happy to do it. And you can lose all over the country 50 different times and defend your case 50 different times. Okay, we'll do that. Anyway, that's argued tomorrow. You might want to follow that. It's very interesting. Delves deep into relatively recent, that is 1868 constitutional history. And I'm curious how the originalists, Alito and Thomas, will respond to this literally unoriginal argument. But it has been the bastion of some nutty professors, very minority nutty professors, for quite some time. I did a show on it on my blog, on my podcast. Oh my gosh, 10 years ago, maybe. We had a couple of professors on arguing this, and it was just, I couldn't stop myself from laughing. Really, it's a ridiculous argument. All right, that was not on the agenda today. What is on the agenda today is Sevis termination. And we may have some people that are part of our litigation listening in today. So let me just tell you where we are in our litigation. Of course, we have received a preliminary injunction, which is an order from the court saying, yes, you're going to win, Mr. Cook. Your clients, your 133 clients are going to win. So I'm going to give you that win now temporarily until we can do all the arguments that in final, when you can get a final win. And that could be many months away. But our clients, what they received in that win was a retroactive reinstatement of their DACA, which is different from what ICE is done to everybody else after they lost 50 different times, including this case. What ICE did to everybody else is they reinstated the DACA, but did not make it retroactive. Whereas in the ordered cases, they're making a note in the system that says, hey, this is this if it never happened. These people, even though the system says it does because our system doesn't work right and we're not going to pay to fix it, here's what we know. Now, the problem is, of course, that note is only visible to ICE. It's not visible to USCIS. It's not visible to CBP. It's not visible to a school, DSO. It's not visible to an employer, which then you look at it, you go, you had a gap in status. This is why we filed another complaint. And we filed a motion to amend our complaint to deal with this issue for our 133 plaintiffs, which is not part of the original complaint, obviously, because we didn't know this stuff when we started the case. They've changed it since. And we also added a visa revocation claim that what Department of State did was in revoking. So far, about 69 of our 133 clients have been revoked. So, we think that's illegal. But that's a much more difficult claim than the Sevis claim. The Sevis claim is we're going to win. The visa revocation claim, not subject to a PI, not subject to TRO. But we couldn't just file the claim because we want to protect our clients. So we added additional plaintiffs and we asked for permission to file a class action on behalf of our original 130 clients and the additional 225 more. That motion's pending, and that motion will not be decided. The government doesn't have to respond to it for 14 days. In the meantime, we're talking to the government about how we could fix this without moving forward on litigation, specifically as it applies to Sevis for our 358 now plaintiffs in this case. And can we restore all of them and so that they are perfect and that the only thing left outstanding is this visa revocation, which is a very, very difficult issue, then maybe we don't want to litigate in this court. All right, maybe we want to litigate in a different court. So we're exploring those talks with the government right now, and we'll have more to add on that by next Wednesday. And we've reached out to our clients, our plaintiff clients, to get some information from them, and we'll be reaching out again. If you're one of those plaintiffs, you don't need to disclose it here, but we'll be reaching out as we get more information from the government, which probably won't be my guess until at least Friday, because we're having to gather information from our clients so we can notify the government about information that they need to make a decision from their end. So that's the Sevis termination litigation. I will tell you there is other stuff going around the country. There's another class action maybe out in California, or maybe up in Washington State. The class action in Pennsylvania is kind of stopped right now. There's not really one going on up in Massachusetts. So ours and the one in Massachusetts are the only ones, Washington, the one's kind of out there. And ours may go away and resurface somewhere else. So we'll see. I just want to update that. But again, congrats to our 133 plaintiffs who are in good shape. If we can get this final agreement from them, they'll be in even better shape. They'll be in even better shape. So that was issue one I talked about today. Second thing, this is really important for DACA. We do at our law firm. We do everything, right? We do federal litigation, student visas, DACA, removal work, deportation work. We do everything at our firm, and we've got just amazing people here that are working with me on this. And not just me, obviously. I'm kind of the tip of the spear, but I sit on this mountain of amazing people and amazing work that we do here. So the DACA appeal. Now, many of you who have DACA know that there is an appeal due this week. Okay. Now, what we know so far is this, that Texas is not appealing their partial loss, partial victory. So their victory in Texas was DACA in Texas is dead. No more renewals in Texas. No more new DACAs in Texas. But they also lost because they were trying to challenge it nationwide. Now, the other side of Texas sued the federal government. The federal government's not going to appeal. But there was what's called a third-party intervener. MALDEF, which is the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund, they came in on behalf of certain plaintiffs, including somebody that I know quite well and whom I love and I think is just a wonderful person. And she's a lawyer. And she knows that it's really important for MALDEF to appeal. But it looks like MALDEF is not going to appeal. That's what we have heard. And MALDEF is not going to appeal. Now, why is that good? Why that's bad? It's bad for Texas. They don't appeal. All you people that live in Texas, if you want to renew your DACA, you're going to have to move, at least temporarily, to a different state. And Texas won't recognize your DACA for purposes of a driver's license. So I guess you're moving out of state. A lot of other states you can move to that want your efforts, they want your help, they want your career, they want you. And why would you want to live in a state like that anyway? But here's the upside if they don't appeal. No, this partial upside and partial downside. If they don't appeal, Monday, DACA's back in place. DACA's back to its original form, or at least to the form that Biden revised, which means they'll have to adjudicate the 90,000 DACA cases that have been sitting at USCIS since May of 2001. They'll have to adjudicate those, my guess. And they've been moving those around. I think they're getting ready to adjudicate them. And they could also accept new DACAs. So you'd be eligible for DACA. If you came before June 15th, 2007, and you were under 15 when you came, and you graduated from high school, or you got a GED, or you're enrolled in GED classes or English classes, you can apply for DACA next week if this is what's happened. Of course, we'll let you know if it happens. But that's what this means. Now, well, Chuck, that's a great thing, except if you're from Texas. Well, maybe not. Because the other rumor that we're hearing, that was my puppy, by the way, the other rumor that we're hearing is that the federal government Trump will move to end DACA. And the way he can move to end DACA is actually pretty simple. They just need to publish it in the Federal Register, which is what they didn't, which is why they lost last time. Which is why they lost in 2017. It continued until Biden, and Biden expanded it, and then they lost because they got a crappy judge. Now, first of all, I think MALDEF would win. I think they would win on appeal, personally, but that's just me. I mean, they lost in the Fifth Circuit, but who cares? That surface is so pro-Trump. I think they would win at the Supreme Court. But the rumors are that they're going to now move to get rid of DACA completely. So, I mean, frankly, I've been telling you guys for years now, if you've got DACA, and I don't care if you've got a removal order, and that doesn't matter, and you haven't traveled on advanced parole, you need to do that. And you need to do it now. You need to apply. It takes like 4 months to get advanced parole. Unless you have an emergency, then you can do it pretty quickly. So you need to move forward and get your advanced parole done. Travel, come back in. Well, Chuck, what if DACA ends while I'm gone? Then you'll come back in because you have advanced parole. They don't just end DACA. It'll gradually expire with your cases, which is also why I've been telling you, if you have less than a year left, renew your DACA now. I had a consult yesterday for the young woman for a motion to reopen on a removal case, she'd filed on May 5th for her DACA renewal and got it on May 11th. I don't know what's going on. I know some of you waited 9 months. I know. So that's the DACA appeal. Take my word on it. You need to use your DACA in a way that's positive and effective right now while you can. Now, maybe Trump doesn't do anything. Now, the other side to Trump doing something is that would force Congress to do something. But honestly, I don't think the GOP and Congress would move it. I really don't. I don't think they would move it. I really don't. So, you got to pray that your friends who are citizens don't vote for the GOP again in the next election, and the Dems get control. They'll actually do something this time, which is, of course, a long shot because you can't trust the Dems either. But it's the only two parties we have. Let's talk briefly about the Trump deportation machine. It's chugging along. They're going to deputize 2,000 FBI agents who normally investigate white-collar crime, because who cares about white-collar crime? It's just like people like Trump stealing money. Like maybe they get a plane for free. Oh, well, we missed that. But they'll get to pick up a poor student who missed the red light or something like that. So that's more important to the Trump deportation machine. They're also deputizing other federal law enforcement officials to be ICE agents. It's completely insane. It's insane. And yet, their deportation numbers lag. They all complained about Biden, but they're right around Biden's number, a little bit lower than Biden's numbers. People forget Biden deported a lot of people. I mean, he wasn't Obama. Obama was a deportation machine, right? 3 million people in 8 years. Most of that in 5 years, honestly. So it was, they're moving along, but they're slow. But what they're doing, a reporter asked me yesterday, well, why are they doing this? I thought they were going to just arrest criminals. That was a lie that they told you, and you believed them. But if you'd read Project 2025, it was never about criminals, because they think anybody who's here without a visa or who's overstayed is a criminal. So to them, it's really what the definition of is. What is the definition of criminal? Well, I guess we're all criminals because we've all broken a law at some point or other. I love the holier than thou people who are like, oh, get these illegals out of here. They're just awful. Because especially the ones that Christian in their title on their Twitter feed. Because they've never broken a law. ever, which of course is impossible. Well, anybody who's driven their car has broken a law. Really. You ever gone 56 and 55? You broke the law. You know, it's a misdemeanor for somebody. Entering the country document is a misdemeanor for a reason, because it's a minor violation of the law. So yeah, but it's a violation of the law. I get it. And, you know, the people don't have a legal right to be here. Although, one thing that seems to be missing from the narrative is this idea that if you're picked up, you're gone. Most people have a defense to deportation and have the due process protections to pursue that relief. And what the Trump administration is trying to do, their machine is trying to do, is detain people, because they know if they can detain people long enough, folks will give up. They will give up. And they'll just abandon their case. That's what Bush did this for years. Obama did this to a T. Arrest everybody, and they'll just give up. They'll just sign. That's what they're hoping to do. And I get it. It's where they put these people is a horrible place. Stewart is a horrible place. Folkestone is a horrible place. A lot of these are horrible places they keep you, which is why they want to build 10 cities, because they can round up as many people. They can just force people into leaving. Now, I will mention briefly this part of the Trump machine, the flyers that they're putting up in the immigration courts. Attention, illegal aliens. We will give you $1,000 if you self-deport, and you'll come back soon from your kids. All of that's a lie, by the way. That is a lie. First of all, they have no legal authorization to offer money to people. That's one, no legal authorization to do that. Nor the public regulation that lets them do that. Two, it's likely a lie because they don't need money to do that. Three, if you're deported, you're not coming back for 10 years. If you leave on your own, you're not coming back for 10 years. So a lot of this is a lie, again, to convince people. Self-deport, use the deportation app. Are there people leaving? Sure, some people have left. And they're just so desperate to count the numbers that the numbers themselves that they're touting are, frankly, a little unclear from their statistics. Love to see a reporter do a story on that. That would be interesting. The last thing I want to talk about is one of our wonderful clients, Ximena Arias Cristobal. Ximena, you may know, lives in Dalton. She lived in Dalton since she was 4 years old. Our parents brought her here, graduated from high school in Dalton, going to Dalton State College. And she was arrested by the Dalton Police 2 weeks ago, purportedly for an illegal right on red when it was prohibited by a sign. We got a call Monday from the Dalton City Attorney. Said, hey, I need to talk to you guys. Turns out, after getting many requests for the video of both the arrest and the incident, turns out they arrested the wrong person. The video shows a black truck with a giant Tractor Supply tool bucket in the back blow through the light to the red. Well, Ximena was driving a black pickup truck, which did not go through the light in the red. And the first truck was gray. Then Ximena's was black. Well, the first one was black and Ximena was gray. Well, it was first gray and then black. I forget which it was. But the officers confused them. You should see the video of him confronting her, the body camera. It is racist. It is awful. It is disgusting. And she was clearly profiled, which is why we've turned this case over to a civil rights lawyer, because they clearly violated her civil rights when they did this. And they've admitted it. Kudos to them for admitting it. But the thing is, ICE doesn't care. As ICE tweeted last night, she still didn't fix her status when she had the chance. Oh, she had a stance? When did she have a chance to do that? Because unfortunately, there is no way to fix the status of a child brought here at the age of 4 in 2010. Doesn't exist. And then she said, well, her dad's detained too. True, we're not her dad's lawyer, but he's clearly cancellation eligible. The sad part is that they don't care. What ICE wants is for people to leave. Now, so we're going to be asking for a bond on Tuesdays, a bond in front of a judge here in Atlanta, for an immigration judge. And, the reality is she's not a danger to the community. Clearly, she didn't do anything wrong. She's the victim of police profiling, at the very least, if not a civil rights violation. Two, she's not a danger to the community. She's not a flight risk, not a danger to the community. Why not give her a bond? She at least has a legal right to round up her affairs if she wants to do that. But she has a right to withholding of removal She has a right to claim a U visa, possibly for what the police have done. There's lots of relief she may have available to her. And ICE doesn't want her to have that. I will tell you, any other administration would not have her detained. No other administration would detain somebody like this. None. Not even Biden. Not even Obama, not Bush. None would detain her. This is about retribution. That's just so you're clear. This is about retribution. And ultimately, I'm not a civil rights lawyer. We'll let them take care of that issue. All we can do is fight the fight for immigration. But just understand this: if they can pick up Ximena, who else can they pick up? Somebody else you love? Somebody called us last night and said they picked up this woman. She was our neighbor. She's a wonderful person. They don't care. ICE doesn't care what kind of good people. They're not arresting criminals, people. You know why? Because there are so very few left. There are very few people that are undocumented that are criminals. In the real definition of the world, not the fake Trump definition. There's very few, which is why they don't pick them up. They're too hard to find. But because they all have a quota, ICE has a quota. Every office of ICE must arrest 75 people a day and detain them. To meet that quota, they're going to pick up good people, easy people to find, people that just walk into their office on a report date. That's who they're picking up, people. Understand, this is what you voted for when you voted for Trump. It wasn't arresting bad people. It was arresting all people. So with that said, let's take a quick look here. We're going to zip out of that. And we have a few questions here. We only have 29 so far, but Andrea, si una persona tiene un 212 aprobado, ya está para la sección 1 es deportada, ¿se puede hacer un cancelación de deportación o tendrás que esperar 5 años? Bueno, no se puede hacer cancelación de deportación o tiene que hacer uno en el consulado. Debe ser necesita. She had a question about her 212. It's a very complicated scenario. Andrea, esa es una buena pregunta para una consulta. So, Alex, can someone take advance parole if they have some weak inadmissible claim from 20 years ago? I don't know. What claim are you talking about? This is where specifics are really, really important. And don't take legal advice from a lawyer over the internet. Isn't that when you heard that? But you need this is the kind of case where you need to call. We need to find out the details, which is why we do consults on Zoom from all over the country. 404-816-8611. Alex, give us a call because your case that is just a little complicated. Irma, hola, ¿qué pasará si los que tienen visa C-14? Gracias. So, Irma, a C-14 work permit is for people that have orders of deportation. They're on what's called an order of supervision. They may have withholding of removal. They can't be deported to their home country, but they can be deported to other countries. Irma, usted puede ser deportada a otros países, incluyendo El Salvador. This is posible. What do you think will happen to Venezuela TPS, emergency request, and SCOTUS? I don't think SCOTUS is going to take an emergency request on Venezuela. It's not necessary for SCOTUS to step in. It's not a constitutional issue. Frankly, Kristi Noem did a really crappy job ending, and so I don't think SCOTUS is going to take that. I really don't. I think DACA for Venezuela is fine for now. Manoj, can you please let us know any updates on the class action? I did do that, Manoj. Yogi Bear, hello, sir. This talk of change to natural, is it accurate? I have heard also talk to change the naturalization process, but no timing. And of course, you'll get advance notice. So we haven't seen anything in the regulatory agenda, but they're probably going to they tried last time, make the test harder, make it more expensive, but so far there's been no change. Alex, will TPS for Afghanistan be able to reinstate it like Venezuela? Oh, 100%. She canceled TPS because she said 7,000 tourists have gone to Afghanistan. It's all safe now. Unless you're a woman. Unless you're a woman. It's ridiculous. It's typical. Kristi Noem, she is shallow. That's a shallow puddle on a sidewalk with the sun coming out. That's a shallow puddle. Yogi Bear, second question. Can a green card holder with no negative history travel? If you have a green card, you're fine. Go. Have a great time. The planes will be empty coming back. You're absolutely fine. Go, yes. Okay, Georgia, yes. Thank you, as always. Can we travel even if you take the work permit? Yes. The fact that you have advanced parole, you can travel, you can come back. Again, it's where it expires gradually. It's not just ended. So, yeah, you'll be good. Have a great time, Georgia, yes. You'll be great. New Jersey, my birth state. All the greatest people were born in New Jersey. When a person goes to consular interview after someone is approved, do they bring the spouse? No, the spouses aren't allowed in the consulate. They can be outside the consulate, and I always recommend that they go so they can experience the aura of the consulate, but no, because spouses can't go to the consulate. Abogado, bendiciones, cambio la información de DACA la semana pasada. No. Ranyan, can we do mandamus for motion to open delay? Typically not. Typically not. At least if you're doing a motion to open with an immigration judge, unless it's been a couple of years, you'd be hard pressed. You'd be hard pressed. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would rather just call the judge's clerk and say, what's going on here? That's what I would do. If it's at the USCIS, then you can do it. But I would still wait at least a year, if not a little bit longer. Nikhil, right now, I want to apply for SIM-OPT in this process. Will I get an RFE? I don't think you will. I got an email this morning, actually maybe an hour ago, from one of our 133 plaintiffs, and they just got their SIM-OPT approved. So they get without an RFE. Vanessa, great to see you. Vanessa still got that really obnoxious picture up, Vanessa. Carlos Eduardo, I live in Texas, traveling on the 18th. My current dog. Yeah, you will be 100% fine traveling. Enjoy your flight, Carlos. Have a great trip. Itzy, so people that just renewed last week will be able to get their DACA approved. Not if they live in Texas. I live in Texas. They'll have to move. So in Texas. Yeah, so move. Yeah. So right now, get a place in Mississippi. My God, that sounds terrible. Or Louisiana or Oklahoma, and send in the change of address, and you'll be fine. Our permanent residents are not at risk unless they get arrested for a crime and get convicted. Then they're at risk. So if you stay crime-free, no risk, you're golden. Andre Suarez, what would happen if USCIS don't follow the decision of the circuit? But they will. They will. They will. Because they'll get sued if they don't. They will. Hello, attorney. Yes, good to see you. Jorge, good to see you. Thank you. Can we still travel at VP? Yes, we already answered that. Brenda, someone was wondering if they get stopped by a cop, should he show his Mexican license or not? I wouldn't. The only reason you'd show a Mexican license if you're still here on a visitor visa and it's still valid. You wouldn't show it otherwise because it's just proof that you're not a U.S. citizen. Why would you admit you're not a U.S. citizen? Just don't answer the question. If you don't have a license, you're getting arrested anyway. They're going to find it on you. So why carry it with you? I'm just saying. Sometimes there aren't the right answers, but I think the right answer almost always is to shut up. I'm not going to answer any questions. Thank you very much. You're getting arrested anyway. Why answer the questions? When you have an order of removal after coming illegally, if you get married and get the order canceled by a judge, can you get the green card? Or you have to apply? Well, if you came illegally, you have to leave the United States. You still have the consular process with the 601A waiver. That's what you got to do. Unless you have DACA and got advanced parole and came back in, or you had TPS and you got advanced parole and came back in. Justice for Ximena. I agree. Thank you, Alexis. Maria Navarro, good morning. For AOS, we do need to mark yes. Have you ever been cited for traffic? Yes. I always check yes for traffic tickets, just in case. And just bring proof that you paid the tickets. Carmen, hola, doctor. ¿Qué pasaría si usas negara el ingreso de una persona con DACA? Well, como es que nunca ha pasado, no sé. Es ilegal de hacerlo. Ellos tienen que someterlo. Me han hecho esta pregunta por 12 años, 13 años. Nadie, ninguna persona se ha devuelto, sino uno. Y su abogado hizo una queja y fue devuelto de inmediato. Si tienes advance parole, vas a regresar, punto. No soy un gran fan de la frontera. Mejor de volar, en mi opinión. Your predictions are initial. I already gave those, Shelly. Go back to the very beginning. I think I'm right. Shawwicker Moraine. I have an interview on June 16th for an AOS adjustment status. AOS of status. Adjustment of status of status. Okay. Overstayed for your emergency travel docket. Will my daughter and I be allowed back on CBP? I'm married a U.S. citizen. Why are you traveling? You have an interview on June 16th. Don't travel. Really? I mean, the advanced parole for adjustment of status is different than the advanced parole for DACA. All right? My strong advice to you is you not travel. Really. You've got, a month? Just suck it up for a month. Someone who has approved U visa, previously overstayed a B1, B2, is it safe for them to travel on advanced parole? Yeah, because they're in U status. If they get an advanced parole, they have the U visa. Doesn't matter if they overstayed. The U visa forgives everything. So yeah, you can travel on advanced parole. Someone who's approved, I already answered that. Oh, Shani, we kick you out if you ask more than once. Traveling on my mom's funeral. Oh, you know, I sympathize with this. This is awful. I still wouldn't go. You can go afterwards. I don't mean to be cold-hearted. You do what you want to do, and you'll probably be fine. Probably. Lilia, señor, gracias, Liliana. Le aprecio mucho. So, Rancho, I have 21 years old. I've been here 21 years. I don't have papers. I have 6 kids. What should I do for the registration? Well, la registración se termina. Usted tiene una obligación de registrar. You have a legal obligation to register. If you don't register, the worst thing that can happen to you is that you can get $1,000 fine and jail for 6 months if they can convict you for failing to register and willfully. And they have to, if you keep your mouth shut, if you're arrested, how are they going to prove willful? That's just my opinion. If a person with DACA and a 10-year bar, that person D3 and obtain an H-1B and DACA can be able to travel. And yeah, I mean, you can get a D3 waiver. I'm not a big fan of those, honestly. You can't get a TN and you can't get an E2 because both of those require immigrant intent. And you don't have non-immigrant intent because you live here the whole life. So the only option would be an H-1B. Nancy Carranza, algún número de teléfono? Oh, that's a great question. So if you need to reach me, it's how you call for an appointment, 404-816-8611. And if you're listening in Spanish, 404-816-8611. Give us a call. You know, you guys can always email. I always answer emails. You can go to our website here at immigration.net. In Spanish is inmigracion.net. And of course, I'm on the Twitter machine, always responding on the most recent immigration and political issues. Let's take a look back here so I can find that question here. Hola, asking for a friend. If something was pending, unfortunately, marriage is falling apart, what should you do? Well, you're going to lose the N400. You know, marriage falls apart. As soon as you get divorced, file a new 751. My mom died. Okay, yeah, you already said that. Look, I already answered this question. I wouldn't go. Sergio, any update on DACA in Texas? Yes, I gave an update. Go back to the beginning part of the video today. Can you look into it? They're denying without RFEs? I don't have anybody like that, Rania. And if you need to be our client to look into that, you should give me a call. Amy Ramirez, what are your options to adjust your status if you marry a citizen of DACA? Well, you need a legal entry to adjust your status. So if you have DACA and you don't have a legal entry, you need to apply for an advance parole. For work reasons, school reasons, medical reasons, family reasons. You go, you come back, you get a green card. 500,000 people have done it. You should be part of them. Good morning. For AOS, do we need to mark yes? Have you ever been cited on? Yeah, I already answered this question. I would mark yes. Thank you for your life again. Well, my wife's thankful for my life. What are they recalling all cases at EOR? I don't know what that question that means. Should I renew DACA if it expires in May 2026? Yes, you should. Can you apply for a work permit with an approved I-130 but unlawful entry? No, you cannot. Come to the Carolinas. I'm close to the Carolinas. I'm in Georgia and Tennessee. If I just got married and filed for AOS, been together, what do I say at my interview? I don't know. What's the question? Answer the questions they ask. I'm just a little unclear what your question is about what question they may have. We got denial for a 485. We can't say motion to get too long. What is your advice? Oh, Ron, my advice is you make an appointment so I can take a look at the file and give you legal advice. Don't give legal advice on specific cases like this here. Too complicated. With the new executive order, proclamation homecoming, should be worried. If you take our money out of the bank, well, a lot of people are getting trusts. Put your money in a trust. And they can't touch it in a trust. You should talk to a trust lawyer. I'm not a trust lawyer. Don't call me. But that's something you need to be concerned about. This administration is greedy and mean, and maybe find ways to protect your money that they don't have access to. Let's see. Pam, can I apply for adjustment of status? I crossed at a checkpoint in 97. I have no little evidence. Yeah, there's a case called matter of Quilanton and matter of Agalen. It says you can do that, but you need evidence. Your testimony can be enough. It's just very fact specific. So again, kind of case you make an appointment on so we can talk about the options that you have available. Why is the Nebraska office taking 8 months in Iowa? It's not, it's intentional because so many crappy VAWA cases have been filed by lawyers saying, arreglar sin salir. You know, your child was mean to you, we can get you a VAWA. They think, immigration thinks those are fraudulent. So they're not issuing the work permits until they look at the case, which is what's going on. Someone who has an approved U visa, previously overstayed with advanced parole. You already asked that question, I believe. I've already answered. Fine, do it. What do you recommend if you had a court document and missed it? I know someone has a green card and they're scared of their deportation. Well, they have a green card. People, they should call us. We'll do a Freedom of Information Act request and then get the case reopened and terminated. Easily fixable. Done it many times. Not an unusual situation. Can ICE come to my house if the plea were terminated? I'm waiting for 6018. Can they? They can do anything they want. Your question is, will they? The answer is no. They will not. What happens if you live here but don't have papers, have a license for a different state? If you don't have if you admit you don't have papers, they're going to arrest you. So keep your mouth shut. Hello, I'm a disabled individual. I have DACA since program started. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I have legal entry. Is there any way to adjust status? When your daughter turns 21, you can adjust your status. Would you recommend to still attempt to fix illegal status? I missed my DACA window. You should always try to fix your status if you can. The problem for many people is there's no way to fix it. Is the wait for I-130 starting to get shorter? No, still about the same. And different, and you can go online to uscis.gov and check out processing times. If renewing text message, well, that's a good question, Sandra. Go back to about minute 2 or minute 3 where I talk about this exact issue. U visa will cover someone with DUIs. U visa forgives everything. I mean, 8 DUIs? Maybe. We'll see. I don't think so, but you try. What do you think about TPS Honduras? I think they're going to end it. They're going to end all the TPSs except for El Salvador, because if he ends the El Salvador one, all those guys are coming back to the United States. Good morning. Will DUI affect approval of military? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It will lead to a denial of the parole in place because you don't have clean hands. You need to be crystal clean to get parole in place. My DACA was submitted in 2020. I completed my metrics. My application was switched to yeah. If they don't appeal, they should be approving those next week. Can you list any other countries in your AP? Yeah, you can go to whatever countries you want to. Just have a reason for going. Catherine, love you too. Fran, after yesterday's release of what do you think the FAD will show in the new fiscal year? What is my prediction for October? I'm very little movement. A month. You're going to see. So I have here I just got a FOIA. It's a FOIA response. It's probably backward to you people. But I asked the government in July of 2023 for a spreadsheet of all I-140 immigrant petitions not adjudicated by classification, by country, and by year of filing. And I got it. Got it a couple weeks ago. I'm going to write a blog, hopefully this weekend, that will give you the numbers. So you will have the actual numbers. I might be the only person besides the government that has these numbers. So I'm going to run a report, and I'm going to run a blog on this. And you can see how bad it really is for ROW. It's bad. We malo, as I say in the old country. Does U visa pardon DUIs? Yes. Can advanced parole for DACA be expedited? Yes, if you have an emergency. My mom is dying, it's a funeral, something like that. Is it safe to get a predicted time with him? Well, I mean, obviously, take your fingerprints, they know who you are. So they're going to use those fingerprints to arrest people. Let's not kid ourselves. We're not stupid. What is the interview about now for just for an adult child? I heard everyone's interviewed. They just asked the questions on the 45. What is the interview about? The interview is about the questions on the 45. All 87 questions. With the Texas situation, how can I fly out my AP? Well, you can still go to Texas on DACA. You're just not going to get a driver's license renewed there. They're not going to come revoke it, but you're just not going to be able to get it renewed. If I have a conditional green card, but marriage is going downhill, what just I can file a loan really well. If you've got evidence of your marriage, shared financials, tax returns, pictures, leases, bank account statements, insurance, everything a married couple has. Mirna, are vacators okay for immigration? They are. Question, why get married until now? I've never seen them ask that question. You're the one that wants to been together for 12 years. I got married because I love my husband and I want to get a green card. That's perfectly fine to say that. If DACA expires March 20, they live in Texas. Yes, they should have renewed in March. Probably need to move now. Sorry. Good afternoon, Cook Baxter. Can I get your email to find out details for a citizenship-based case? Yes, you can. Super C, 29 Super C. So here's my email. ccook@immigration.net. I answer my own emails. I don't have somebody here. I got my keyboard. Got my keyboard right here. There we go. My cool keyboard. I answer all my own emails. Let's see. Where is Super 29C? Where is that? Oh, you asked a lot of questions, Super 29C. I heard that open case on VAWA. Is that true? I mean, the reopening cases, I don't doubt that at all. None of ours, because we don't file garbage. Will EB3 eventually be as much movement as EB2 as recently? No. There's way more EB3 cases than you know. ¿Usted hace casos de acción deferida de abuso de empleado? Sí, that's a visa T. We do those, lady. Por supuesto, llámanos. My case was administratively closed, but I've heard they are reopening those cases, Serge. There you go. Which is why you should have got it terminated. Much better option for most people. What do you recommend if I open an asylum case, but I married a U.S. citizen? Well, did you come in legally? You should be processing through your spouse, in my opinion, but make an appointment. Are processing times shown on the U.S. accurate? No, they're not accurate. They're gross estimates, but they're not accurate. Was the mayor arrested by ICE? You have jurisdiction against clear legal residents. Oh, you're talking about the Newark mayor. The ICE is going to get in big trouble over that by the courts. He wasn't doing anything wrong. Thank you for weekly updates. Pending, hope we get it. Well, hopefully, Jesus. Let's see. Are you not going to continue to challenge visa revocation? Oh, no, we are. Clearly, Ahmed, you were not listening. Go back and listen again. Super Z, why are green card holders being held at borders and airports? I don't know. I do know this. Millions of green card holders are not being held at the airports. Why are a couple being held? Well, maybe they committed a crime. The thing is, if you committed a crime, you shouldn't, and you're a resident, you shouldn't travel until you talk to an immigration lawyer. Because the rules on deportation to kick you out are not the same as the ones that keep you out at the airport. And you could have committed a crime that's not deportable, but still be denied entry. So there you go. Can I fly with a paper copy of my license from the DMV with AP? They cut my expired license. I have a passport. No, I don't think. I think you have to have the original license. I don't think but you can fly on a passport, a foreign passport. One of the best. Thank you very much, No Limit fan. I have an I-130 approved and my I-25. My lawyer says better wait to submit motion to open. Is this typical? No. I mean, if you have an approved I-130 is when you file the motion to reopen. Or I don't know, maybe if you've got an in absentia, you can also file a 212 waiver showing it's no fault of your own. Mi abogada me dijo que llenar las formas para registrarme. Otro abogado me dijo que llenar la forma de estoy en la... O tiene que llenar los dos, Fidel. Hay que hacer los dos. Ali, what happens to VAWA case when a lawyer is investigated? Not good things, Ali. Not good things, because what they do is they take all those lawyers' cases and they set them aside, and they don't adjudicate them. And they look at them one by one very carefully for that fraud. Hi, 212H waiver granted for deportable. I am okay for a renewal green card. Yeah, you're fine. Do you think Supreme Court will rule against DACA as a whole? I don't think the court's going to take the case. It's not going to get there. I applied for AP and got approved. If we listed only one country, what's the consequence of traveling to another country? None, because they're not going to know you're traveling. Any update? I gave that update, Yadira. Due to the many ICE raids in Florida, I'm wondering if DACA is accounted by ICE and DACA is expired but is in process of renewal. Again, which is why you carry your renewal papers with you. Then you should be fine. Doesn't mean you won't be arrested, but you will be renewed. Can you do AP with the deportation abstention? Yes, you can. 100%. We've done it many times. We've even gotten green card people in that exact situation. Asking for a friend. If I was caught driving with my learner's permit, but now I have my driver's license, will this affect my OS? No. Can I fly with a paper copy of my license? No. You have to have a hard copy of your license. What is the next step if someone ever is revoked? Either Sevis determined, well, nothing. You're in status. If you're a plaintiff, not plaintiff, this is the kind of case where you got to have a consult. Call for a consult, my friend. Do you take U visa cases? We've done thousands of U visa cases. Love to do them. How long have I practiced immigration law? If you can't tell by the hair and the wrinkles, it's been 36 years since I've been practicing immigration law. So my first case 36 years ago. My first case was a Guatemalan farmer who had been displaced because of the war in Central America, and I won his asylum case 36 years ago this year. Abogado, ¿se perjudica el empleador por reportar el abuso laboral? Well, sí, van a ser investigados por abuso laboral. Hola, abogado. I ordered a PDF of your book. Haven't received it. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Jorge. Yes, I did write a book. Yes, it's on Amazon. You can find it. If you haven't already covered it, what is your opinion of recently announced Project Homecoming? Executive order to give you 6 days to leave. It's junk. I mean, they can say whatever they want, okay? The law is the law. Immigration judge closed our case. We can seek benefit. Is that wanting to no? Why do you want to reopen it? Did he administratively close it or did he terminate it? I need to see that. You need to go online and look. Does it say administratively closed or does it say dismissed? That's what you want to see. How soon can I start filing through my daughter? She's 19. When she's 21. You can file it then on her birthday. Can you explain the difference between administratively closed and terminated? Administratively closed means it can be reopened. It's still on the court docket. Terminated means they'd have to refile the notice to appear. A last question. To apply for a visa EU, what's the time limit? There is no time limit. I've done visa cases that are 20 years old. My daughter is studying in LA on an F1 visa. Oh, you're outside the country, all right. Her visa coach told her she must not leave because she could lose her visa. It doesn't make any sense. If she wasn't revoked, she's fine. Her visa's valid. That's weird. I have an order in absentia. You guys help me reopen. I have a DACA. I did it in my court days. I have attending. Anyways, a political event. Do I send it to? You don't need a 212 if your case was reopened. You should call us, Patty, and we can give you advice on your case. You don't want your case discussed in front of all these people. Can you do advanced parole with a deportation in absentia? Yes, you can. Wow. That was quite the day. Remember, this is my email right here. You can email me anytime you'd like. I always answer my emails, and I usually answer them the same day, if not right away. I will also tell you that if you want to reach me for an appointment, it's 404-816-8611. I'll be back with you next week. Next week is Spanish, of course, but we always delve into English. Like today, we delved into Spanish with a little bit of English. And one day I'll speak in German, if I ever learn it. I can talk to the ghosts of my grandparents. But we'll see you next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. You guys have a great week. Get protected. Be safe. Goodbye.